Hi, my name's Oso, and today we're going to be talking about Stormgate. This is an overview of the Infernal race, one of two races available for the Stormgate beta in February 2024. If you enjoy this guide, make sure to give it a like and comment about anything I may have missed, and subscribe to be notified about new content. So, the Infernal. It is a very unique race. It has a lot of different mechanics. And for any of those who really enjoy brute force, Infernal may be the right choice for you. But they have a lot going on, and you can easily get overwhelmed if you don't understand what is actually happening. So first, we have the Shrine. This is your base, your standard central base hub. You can train imps from it, and then you can also upgrade it into the Greater Shrine, which unlocks more of the tech tree, tier 2, stuff like that. Your base builder is the imp. It is a relatively weak unit, and rather than doing any sort of traditional building, it will actually sacrifice itself in a ritual to summon the building. You can stop the ritual and then bring back the imp. And it's also important to note that you can see this gray area around my buildings. This is called Shroud, and you can actually build anywhere that you would like. You do not have to specifically build on Shroud. One thing that is very unique to Infernal is that they actually front load their units. What I mean is, you can see over here that I have a 3 next to my train imp. I will actually just instantly produce 3 imps from here, and you can see I have a lot of numbers going on. So what you need to make sure that you're doing is you need to stay on top of the front-loaded amount and never allow the numbers to maximize. You get 3 per building. So you just wanted to stay on top of that to maximize your productivity, rather than the traditional, start a production queue and build from the buildings. From there, we have the meat farm. This is our supply base. It provides, I believe, 10 supply starting out, and then it also creates these fell hogs. Fell hogs are kind of like broodlings, where they have a minor attack. They can help defend the base, but they also provide 2 additional supply, so you can have up to 16 supply per meat farm. And this does cap out at 300. Next, we have the Iron Vault. The Iron Vault is where we can train brutes right off the bat. Brutes are our frontline attackers. They are relatively slow compared to all the other units in the Vanguard, especially the scouts. They have a very high attack of 30 and 10 armor. But you can see they have a very slow attack. But they are very good at being meat shields, and once they do get a hit, it's pretty devastating. Once they die, or once we use our Sunder Soul ability, they will break apart into fiends. Fiends are very relatively small in terms of health and attack, but you can easily get a lot of fiends over time, and these will supplement your army as you're kind of building it. You may also notice that there is a white bar on top of all my units. This is where the Shroud comes in. As Infernal units remain in Shroud, they will gain what we call white health, which is an additional 20 to 25%, depending on the unit, extra like shield or yeah, it's essentially like a shield, kind of like an overhealth. Fiends do decay their white health while they're outside of Shroud, and then regenerate it. Every other unit will maintain their white health while they're roaming around the map. We're going to move over to the Conclave real quick. The next unit is the Gaunt. This is a ranged attacker. It may not look like they do a lot of damage, which at 6, but what's nice about them is that they actually do a multi-hit, so it will bounce off of 2 enemies. And then the biggest thing is that they have the Plague Axe. So the Plague Axe will infest the enemy, which will deal a small amount of ticking damage. It's a damage over time ability. And then any enemy that is infested who dies will create a fiend. And so this is how you are supplementing your army, is creating fiends from fallen enemies, and then you eventually just overwhelm your opponent with just a huge army out of nowhere. Moving back over to the Iron Vault, once we create the Shadow Cleft, which is unlocked by getting a Greater Shrine. So we see over here, as we're upgrading our shrine to the Greater Shrine, we will unlock the Shadow Cleft and the Ritual Chamber. These provide upgrades and access to our Tier 2 units. So we have the Megalodon and the Hellborn. One thing I should also note is that you can see here that each of these have a number 3. As you build, it uses up 1 charge for the entire building. So it's not that I have 3 Brutes, 3 Megalodons, 3 Hellborn. It is 3 charges for the entire building. So the Megalodon, very similar to, I would say, the Kodo Rider. They have a pretty nasty, like, goring attack. But the biggest advantage that they provide is this trample, which is on a 20-second cooldown. It also destroys trees. They will do an AoE attack like this, and it can be upgraded at the ritual at the Shadow Cleft, so that it will periodically stun enemy units as well, which is quite nice. And then finally, in the Iron Vault, we have probably my favorite unit, the Hellborn. These are long-range siege units. Now, it does take a while for them to charge up their attack, but you're going to see here they have a pretty decent range. It's 30 damage, range of 14, and then what's nice about it is that they will actually deal splash damage behind their target, which obviously we can't demonstrate here because these are all friendlies, but you can see that kind of effect. So quite nice. I do like these. They're very cool. Moving back over to the Conclave, again demonstrating the different charges. These are the Doombringers. These are the transports for the Infernal. What's kind of unique about them is that they do need to sit down in order to load up the transport, and then they will come back up, and then so especially for like the slower units, these are quite nice. And once they drop down, they will automatically deposit any unit that they're carrying, and they also provide a small level of shroud for your units, which is quite nice. And then finally, if let's say battle isn't going well, it's not going your way, you need to get out. They have a teleport ability. So they will get out very quickly. I have not found a way to... It would be conceivable if you had a bunch of gaunts. Load up a bunch of gaunts. Like so. And then transport them over to, say, an enemy base. Dump them out. Attack, especially because of the multi-attack. And then get out of dodge and teleport away. So I have not seen that personally. I've not tried that myself, but it might be something that that could be conceivably. And then we have the Weaver, and the Weaver is a little strange. One, it's a massive unit. It is actually a spellcaster. The spellcaster, it has an ability. I don't think I can demonstrate it on a friendly target. We might have to go to this neutral stuff right here. It is rather slow and lumbering, but it has a lash ability. The lash will grab a target. Was not a very good demonstration, but it will grab a target and pull it to the location. It doesn't always work. It's a little buggy, but it also deals 60 damage. It can also consume nearby fiends and fellhogs in order to restore its white health. So, which is quite nice. It has a detector ability, which means that there may be stealth units coming out later in this game. It's just not currently in this build, which is very exciting. And then it also has high sight, so it can actually see above terrain obstacles. The attack, it says it's 0, which is definitely not the case. What ends up happening is it's called Soul Ripper. So it actually deals 10% of an enemy's max health, so regardless of what it's hitting. So, yeah, for the Hellborn, like, this is going to be, I don't know if it's actually going to count white health on here, but it does a sizable chunk of damage to its white health, whereas if it were to attack a Fellhog, it's going to do the same percentage damage, but it's actually a lot less. So, Weavers are very interesting, especially against siege positions from Vanguard. These are very useful with the Lash ability. And then also the Megalodons also have the Consume as well. One thing I forgot to mention about the Gaunts is that they do have an activated ability. This is something from an upgrade. It's called Reaper Rush. At the cost of 10 health, they will increase their speed by 50%. And it's, I believe, like 10 seconds. It's actually a pretty long time. And then finally we have the Twilight Spire. So this is a placeholder. These are very similar to Shadowflyers, are very similar to Scourge from Brood War, in which they don't have like a traditional attack. They will just go and explode onto other enemy flyers for massive damage. It's actually quite sizable. So these are very good against Hornets and other flying targets and enemies. And then we have the Spriggan, which is kind of like a flying imp. It has it's a triple attack. so it's actually 5 times 3 damage, and then it reduces the attack speed of its enemy for 30 seconds, I believe. Oh, by 6% for 15 seconds, max 30. So it does have a stacking effect to it. So it would be 18, then 30%. So if they hit twice. So that's it for the base units for Infernal. There are the rituals. So another unique thing about Infernal is that rather than just generating energy over time, the Infernal will collect animus. And in order to do that, they have to build shroud stones. So shroud stones are towers. They have a static defense, so they deal about 12 damage. But they also produce more shroud, so it's very common to build forward shroud stones to allow your army to regenerate their white health. And also, while fighting near a shroud stone, you will collect animus, and animus allows you to do rituals. So the first one is summon effigy. So you have to see the target, but you will create a temporary smaller shroud stone. It's a small structure that provides shroud, I should say. So very nice to just have like a small regenerating health while you're fighting an enemy. The next one, which is quite useful, is the Hellspawn Resurgence. So let's say that you fell behind on production. Of course, I'm all out of supply. Let me free up some supply here. There we go. Okay. So let's say that you had to build a bunch of gaunts. So you build your 3 gaunts, but you need more. You use Hellspawn Resurgence, and it automatically gives you 3 additional charges. And there's no cooldown on this. It's just based on how much animus you have. So here we go. We've already created an army of 9 gaunts in just a few seconds. So that's quite powerful, especially if you are still learning and kind of falling behind on production. Nightfall Infestation will put an area of effect down and then infest all the targets, so you don't need to have gaunts. If say your enemy targets all your gaunts down or something like that, you have something you can do. Shroud Stone Manifestation is quite nice. So you can build another Shroud Stone. You could build a Shroud Stone anywhere near a permanent Shroud Stone. So like right here. And this one, for 30 seconds, will increase the damage and attack speed of itself by 100% for 30 seconds. And then also, all Shroud is covered. You get 100% more coverage of Shroud for 30 seconds as well. So quite nice. Just a nice little boost of damage during a fight. Though sometimes, especially in the middle of a intense fight, it's a little hard to put it down because there's just so much happening and creatures are still moving. The pathing is still not perfect in this game yet. I imagine while there's some polish that needs to be done. And then we have Shadowfall. This will cover the entire map in Shroud for 30 seconds. So I'm going to just show off. So you can see here we have a lot of just area that's not covered in Shroud right now. And now everything is covered in Shroud. So I'm not sure how useful this is. At 75 energy, it's quite costly. Usually I just find the effigies to be suitable, but we'll see how this goes as the game progresses and the meta progresses. And then finally we have the Summon Flayed Dragon, and this is a monster of a creature. So first off, it has 90 damage per attack at 2.2 seconds and 20 armor. And it also has Parasitic Fiend, so any unit that dies while infested will spawn an additional fiend. So this just grows your army even further. And it also will cause infest to any target that it hits. But it also has two abilities. One is Fetid Breath, which will infest all units and cause a stream of acid. And then it also has Inhale Poison, which removes all infest from nearby enemies. And then it increases its white health again. So it is quite a strong creature. If you can manage to get this off, which is 300 energy, it's a lot of Animus to get, and it's also 500, so it's not anything cheap. But being able to summon this is quite strong, and it is also, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get rid of. So usually, if you can get this down, you're probably going to win. Yeah, so that's the Infernal. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm especially enjoying the Infernal. I think it's a very cool and unique race, and I look forward to seeing how the game progresses over time. But please feel free to, just so you know, we are in an open beta. So if you are interested in playing this game, for the Steam Nextfest, it's available February 5th through 12th. All you have to do is just sign up for the beta, and then make sure to wishlist this game on Steam for when it comes out. With that, my name's Oso, and thanks for watching.